Hey everyone, today we're going to talk about how I learned to build AI applications in 2023. The unique part of my process is that I never knew how to develop stuff before. How my story is different than a bunch of YouTube videos from computer science majors is that I'm actually from business and healthcare background. And I learned how to do that all in 2023 because of generative AI. If you're curious about this and you want to know how to do yourself, well, hear my story. It all started in December of 2022 when a friend of mine told me about this beautiful thing called ChatGPT. I tried it. I got so excited. I basically was putting everything into ChatGPT. I even wrote poems in many different languages about many different things. Then Midjourney came around and that just blew the gasket. You know, it was amazing. And this is one of my favorite pictures I made in Midjourney. When I was like, okay, hold on a second. There should be a potential for using this in business. So I run an advertising business. So that's why I was like, interesting. Maybe I could just use prompts and develop something really interesting. And guess what? Anytime I'll try something a little bit more complex than just asking stuff in ChatGPT, I would hit the wall. Like I have to figure out some sort of, like I have to know some language, I have to understand some sort of technical terms, and it was very frustrating because every time I'll try to wing it, I'll just ask ChatGPT, it just fails, right? Like you just hit the wall. And after a good amount of, you know, like methodical thinking, and I came to a very good conclusion that I need to learn. I need to get some more knowledge. March came around, you know, I was like, you know what, let's do this. I'm sure on YouTube there are lots of courses that could explain how exactly to learn this as fast and as efficient as possible. So I went down the rabbit hole, learned a lot, but all these concepts, for some reason, YouTubers or technical YouTubers assume that you know everything, that you actually had a degree in computer science. Maybe their audience does, but for people like me who are coming from non-technical background, that was very, very frustrating. I would understand half of the words they were saying. So comes April and my frustration grew, but then my mind tells me, you know what? Remember Wilfredo Pareto? And why would we know about Wilfredo Pareto? Because he came out with this principle of 80-20 rule, right? 20% of effort leads you 80% of result. Why would we listen to him? Well, he was a polymath, an individual who possesses knowledge in many different subjects. We just basically have to go by example at this point. The Pareto principle became very popular because 20% leads you 80% of results. So if you're trying to learn something and you want to get 80% of the result, as long as you could understand and figure out what that 20% is of knowledge, then you're golden. You know, you're basically cutting your learning time by 80%, right? Because you only need to learn 20. I went down the rabbit hole looking for that 20% of knowledge that will allow me to create AI application. I watched hundreds of hours of AI tutorials, but now I was doing it with a purpose. I was looking for the 20% of golden information that will allow me to get 80% of AI results. After a while, I realized that it's not there. What you have on YouTube or on Medium or on Reddit is you have AI experts who literally speak completely different language than the rest of the people, and then you have people like me or the rest of the people, and there is a big Grand Canyon in the middle. There's either that or this. All right, AI experts creating magic with AI large language models, and people like me enjoying changing the prompts in ChatGPT and be like, wow, look at that. I really wanted to jump over to another side, and my search for that 20% of technical knowledge came, I came up short. The videos are either super technical or they're a bunch of nothing burgers. There's nothing in the middle. So in April, the report came out that AI skills gap is becoming even broader. They know they need them. They know that their jobs are affected. In the Pew Research Center study, it said that 1 in 5 American workers have jobs that are highly exposed to AI, yet they don't know, and they earn really high salaries. This is like the intellectuals, this is the white collar workers, but they still not sure, even them, I'm sure they're looking, they don't know where to learn those skills. Why? Because of this Grand Canyon in the middle. So I'm like, you know what? It's not gonna be my story. Even though I cannot find, what do you do when you cannot find the 20% that leads you 80% of result? You eat the whole 100. So here you go. Downloaded a little VS Code and I started going through it. JavaScript, yeah, give it to me. It was painful. There are a couple courses I tried. I purchased a lot of different courses. Couple courses I tried on JavaScript and Python that were actually very good. Even for the non-technical person like me, if you actually want to learn how to code, it's gonna be in my AI dev newsletter. Why did I go to Python? Because JavaScript was I just didn't like the syntax. Python was easier to learn, but the front end, you try creating front end in Python and it is pain. All right. So then went to SvelteKit. It was an exciting part of my life, spending hours and hours building stuff in SvelteKit, but it was very slow, and especially when you just don't understand nothing and things just constantly break. It's just because you don't have enough foundational knowledge and stuff, and don't have enough experience. It's very demotivating to do that. Okay, so the no-code tools became very interesting to try because of that. I'm like, okay, let me try. So I went to Bubble and I started trying to learn how to work on Bubble, started building applications, and then they changed the pay structure, right? So basically the fee structure. And I started seeing a lot of examples of people talking that the previous monthly fee for Bubble use was like $30, and after they switched, literally overnight, they switched the fee structure, it went up to over $1,000. I was like, you know what? I'll stay away from this tool. Then I came across Flutter Flow. Flutter Flow, beautiful platform. Few things are a little raw, but it's probably the best thing you could do. And Flutter Flow allows you to create mobile applications, web applications. When I start interacting with AI models, and the use cases have become much more interesting once it has information about your company or about 2023, right? Because the tuning of the model was done in 2021, so it doesn't really have any information about 2023. So this is where the vector databases come along, and such thing as Pinecone, Quadrant. They basically allow you to add knowledge to your AI model. In order to interact with things like Pinecone or vector databases, you could code it yourself, or you could use another framework that makes it even easier, such as Langchain. And if you don't want to code Langchain, you could use a Flowwise. Basically, it's a wrapper around Langchain that makes it much easier to work with it. And how do I know all this stuff? Well, I was spending 50 hours a week just basically working on it. I didn't really care about nothing else in the world. I don't see anything else in life. I just basically just go all out. 40-50 hours a week, trying to figure out, learning all the tools, and thinking like at some point my brain will make the right connections and I'll be able to understand what's in front of me. And realize that sometimes you don't need to create a front end. You don't need to have a website in order to interact with these AIs and get the value out of these AI models, such as OpenAI or Llama 2 from Facebook. You could actually use it through the conversational AI interfaces, such as BotPress and VoiceFlow. Also, Webflow started adding a lot of automation systems in it, so like could do a lot of stuff that you needed coding for before, but now you could just do through a website builder. Crazy time. And you start realizing how crazy things is because you built it. Like I've been building all this stuff from basically ground up, and I start appreciating a lot of this intricate systems and wrappers around much more complex pieces of technology. Then start using Zapier, Make, and I was like, wow, this is really cool, because Again, they give you that simplicity. If you think that make and Zapier is confusing, try to code what they do in Python or JavaScript. You will start appreciating a lot. Then you have Llama Index, amazing team. Probably out of this whole universe of all those applications, Llama Index team is, first of all, their product is free. It works amazing. They deliver fast, and the customer service is bee's knees. Continued learning all the skills, because why? There was no path. There was no clear path for a person who is non-technical to learn technical things. So I was like, okay, you know, I'll just learn everything. Did I learn it in depth? Of course not. In order for you to find a signal that will basically give you a direction, you have to go wide and then you go deep. At this point, I'm about maybe 600-700 hours worth of practice and coding and trying different things, and I start seeing patterns and I started realizing that there are a lot of people out there that are like me. So I was like, you know, let me help you. I started putting out YouTube videos about this topic, about the things that I build and the problems that I realized in my comments, a lot of people started asking very specific questions that I couldn't write code in the comments on YouTube. So I'm like, this is a good time to start a community, right? So this way you could have a much faster feedback loop. Was this in Discord circle, Facebook, and I got to know all these people. And who are they? They are office workers, the people who do things day in, day out, the same stuff. And they're like, you know, there are a lot of functions that we do that could be easily automated, especially now since automation is becoming so much easier with this new large language models. Next thing, you have college students who are either graduating or going into an internship, business owners, or basically managers or directors within the corporate world. They were also very interested because it allows you to create efficiencies in the places where you could not do it otherwise, right? You cannot make people work 3 times faster, but with AI, you could make them 3 times more efficient. And actually, their productivity, even though they're not working faster, their productivity goes up exponentially. So that's why this 3 particular types of builders arise, and I noticed them in my Discord community in comments. And then August, I spent most of the time just answering questions. I released only one video and one YouTube video in August because I was just busy answering questions and building stuff for clients, because a lot of people start coming around asking for help. And at the same time in August, I started seeing the patterns that no matter what the question was, even if I didn't have experience with the tool that the client was coming to me with, I was able to see within a few questions. I could be like, okay, what does this tool do? What your tech stack looks like? This is your problem. And I was really surprised to why I could see things so fast and so clearly, right? I could identify the problem. I could figure out how to build it. And the reason why is because I was able to acquire a skill set that I could only see in people that I interacted with before. In my professional life, I used to work as a consultant for a tech firm, and every time I would ask them questions, you could always see them thinking like, oh yeah, it's possible to build. Yeah, there are a few things we could move around, but like, how can you just imagine things in your head and just like, no matter what I say, you could figure out the solutions to it? I acquired the skill, and all the technical people I used to work with before that, basically I've seen this before. They were all engineers, they were all coders, they're basically building stuff all their life. And I call it engineering mind. Engineering mind is basically when you have enough exposure and enough practice and enough mentorship to be able to connect these things together. Where I'm coming into, I'm thinking like, okay, you know what? I could share with the world, with the people that were like me. And how many people are out there that could spend 1,000 hours of work in a year to commit to something? Not that many, because you have bills, everything else. I'm blessed, I have different sources of income, so I could actually go down the rabbit hole and learn. That's exactly why I decided to create a THETA. I call it a THETA because THETA is a type of brainwaves that are responsible for relaxation and deep learning. That's where I think the transformation actually happens, you know, on the much deeper unconscious, subconscious level. So, who am I? right, to teach you all this. I was a college student learning things, and the only thing I knew, as long as I learn good and I get good grades, I will get a good job. So basically, I transitioned after I graduated, I transitioned into intensive care area, became a cardiothoracic nurse in a transplant unit. After that, I moved on, and I thought, you know what, there is more to life, and I decided to start seeing all those YouTube videos about all those gurus, you know, driving Lambos. So I was like, you know, instead of learning from YouTube, maybe I should just go and learn it from the business school. So I wrote a really nice letter, got into business school, and long story short, graduated, got a lot of experience, created my business, did a lifestyle business. All right, and then December rolls around, and I get introduced to ChatGPT, and this is the whole story. Anyhow, during my time, I went through 3 transformations. From college students to the cardiothoracic CCRN. From there, I went and became a UCLA MBA. From there, I became a non-coder who learned skills in 2023. And because of this, I feel like uniquely qualified to create a secure, rapid business and career growth by a course that's called Secure Rapid Business and Career Growth by developing AI first engineering mind in 30 days. Yes, it's possible to do in 30 days. I do not expect you that you have all this time to do it, but I'm saying, like, if you really put a lot of effort into it, you could actually have it accomplished in 30 days. And I call it AI EM30. Okay, so what this course will be about, it's going to be small groups. It's going to have weekly live build, code assistance, source code will be provided, so you could use it for your clients, for your own business. You're going to be able to learn how to apply business logic and basically transform it into code and connect all the, you know, AI functionalities you want. So no matter what your ambition is, we'll use innovation to basically make it a reality. We'll provide conceptual training so you can actually understand conceptually how things are working underneath the hood. If you don't understand it, I'll make sure to explain it to you in a different way. I'm really good at explaining things. So I wish I had that when I was learning, because a lot of this IT concepts are difficult to understand. They're not very natural, I'd say. And if you actually taken online courses before, you know that the graduation rate or completion rate of online courses is very low, right? It's a single digit, usually 7 to 9%. And that is the reason why I want to create a stage bonuses. Well, I decided to go ahead and create a stage bonuses. We will be the only online course on YouTube that has stage bonuses. Okay? And let me explain to you. So our course will be consisting of 3 different stages, of 3 different parts. Okay? First part is gonna tell you about the foundational part of the AI and how to basically go around understanding business problems and translating them into the AI problems, right? And after you're done with that part, you will be graduated to receiving your first bonus, which is going to be a limited edition THETA member t-shirt. After that, and it's a THETA Combinator t-shirt, right? And after that, once you finish with the business side, right, the translational, like basically it's a translational side of the course, you will move on to the no-code part, where we'll push the limits of what no-code can do. And from, again, basically weekly meets, you have lots of exercises, you have a lot of examples, a lot of applications you're gonna build that I have code for, and then basically we'll go down conceptual points and see what you don't understand, and I will make sure you understand. All right, so after you're done with the no-code part, not only gonna have this amazing feeling of satisfaction that now you could build stuff that 99% of your peers cannot even fathom on how to do it. You're also gonna have limited edition THETA AI no-code hat. Okay, free shipping within the United States. Everything else is extra. Okay, just FYI. And now with Mojo, it's actually becoming much faster. And if you don't know what Mojo is, look it up. It's interesting. All right. So next point, advanced technical deep dive. In low code space, we're gonna start using Python to start creating applications, and extending your no-code applications that we built before with additional customization and additional tools. Okay, so in this way, you will see what is the value of having a little bit of extra coding skills, right? We will go deeper into debugging to be able to understand where the bugs are and why the application doesn't work. And also the last piece will be is deploying this on the enterprise level frameworks, right? Like Azure, right? And once you're done with all the exercises, you will feel so accomplished. I'm not telling you it's going to be easy. It's going to be hard. And that's the beautiful part of this transformational experience, because it will make you look at every problem from first principles. Once you're done with this, and we're going to have basically a graduation, and we're going to have a final verbal and coding exam. And if you pass all that, you will graduate to a limited edition AI Dev Vest. All right, so Theta Combinator Vest, because all devs and all tech people have this. I don't know, for some reason it's a thing, okay? It's a Silicon Valley thing, I don't know. But it's cool, you know, this basically, you could basically wear your accomplishment. I don't know, I like this stuff. And if you feel like you don't have the time to do this right now because, you know, you have a lot of responsibilities that are not allowing you to do all these things, then why don't you just sign up to the AI Sim dev letter? It's in the description below, so you could actually follow the progress of the Theta team. And also, I will try to provide as much value as possible in that dev letter. So instead of you going through the hell I went through, you could cut probably 50% of your learning timeline by just following the things that I will provide in the AI Sim dev letter. And part 3, not only you'll get a vest, but also we will give you a non-fungible badge of Theta AI Dev transformation. So this way, it only belongs to you. You could never transfer it, and it will be uniquely yours on the blockchain that will be able to, you know, always verify that, you know, you are our graduate. I see that in the future, this badge will hold weight. All right, so at this point, you have 2 choices. You have that blue pill, is basically status quo, move on, or the red pill. Basically, just either sign up to this course, and the first release, it will be September 13. The official start date is September 17. On that day, the price will be different. Right now, it's a pre-release price. 1 payment is $450. Or 2 payments of $250 monthly payments. Okay, so it's right now, and it comes with all the perks that I explained earlier. And again, the first release, the first class release, September 13. The official start of the program is September 17. So what are you gonna do? The red pill, you know, or, you know, status quo, the blue pill. All right, stay simpy, my friends. Sign up to the AI Sim dev letter. I provide as much value as I can in there to cut down your learning curves. Make sure that you get up to speed really quick. But if you really need that boost to get, you know, to get to the next level within 30 to 45 days, then feel free to sign up to our Theta Academy, right? Theta Combinator. Feel free to sign up to Theta Combinator. First class release on September 13. It's gonna be lots and lots of fun. Our community will be in Slack, not in Discord. So this is basically, that's differentiation there. And the Slack community will have a lot of AI bots that are gonna be your tutors. So when I'm not available, the tutors will be there. AI tutors will be there to help you with coding and understanding different conceptual things. Okay, so this is gonna be